And this is all in the lead up to our AI-powered search, modern retrieval for humans and agents course, which Doug and I are teaching starting next week. We kick the course off on Wednesday. And we have some amazing guest instructors with us as well. Renee Kriegler, Kim Falk, Amelie Chatelain, and Andreas Eriksson, who I'll talk about in just a minute. And as I mentioned, the course does start next Wednesday. It's a full month course. It runs July 1st to 31st. We've got these amazing guest speakers who I mentioned a minute ago. And Doug and I are really blessed that, of all the, I don't know how many courses they have on Maven, a ton. It's one of the best learning platforms out there, but we're currently the top 5 trending course on the platform. So special thanks to everyone who's already signed up for the course for helping us get there. And if you have been following along and are interested in the course, definitely sign up. You may be able to help us bump that position up a few spots. But in either case, we're really excited. Some of the companies that are enrolled in the course, there's many beyond these, but Pinterest, Meta, Amazon, Quadrant, ByteDance, TikTok, Indeed, Depop, Yelp, BMW. You get the idea. There's a lot of really great folks from really great companies, often top search engineers and AI engineers coming to learn. And the nice thing about this kind of course is it's cohort based, which means that you'll be in class with all of these folks, able to ask them questions. There's an online community where we all talk and interact, and through the labs and office hours and those kinds of things. So definitely, we would love for you to come spend the month of July with us. If you are interested, you can check out some more info about the course here in the course with the course info QR code. There's also reviews, which you can check out as well, because there's really no better way to learn about a course than from people who've already taken it, because obviously Doug and I are a bit biased, but it is a really great course. And these are just some examples of the labs. Most of the sessions have labs. They're Python and Jupyter notebooks run in a Docker container, so it's really easy to get up and running with a single command and then run through all the examples in the course. Really quickly, I do want to walk through the schedule. Some of you have already seen this, but if not, really quickly, the first week as we kick off, we really focus on the search relevance problem and just sort of framing the problem of search and AI search. We do have an optional session next Thursday that will be a free lightning lesson. Anybody can come to this, even if you're not enrolled in the course, where we'll talk about some of the AI search fundamentals, things like vector spaces, sparse vectors, dense vectors, lexical search, hybrid search, and just sort of making sure the basics of things like BM25 scoring, cosine or dot product similarity, that those sort of fundamentals are there so that we can quickly build into other AI search topics. We have our first office hours next Friday, or sorry, next Thursday, because it's a holiday weekend in the US. So we'll have that Thursday. Usually they're on Friday. And then in week 2, we will dive into initially behavioral signals and reflected intelligence models. And so we really focus in the course not just on, vectors and lexical matching and hybrid search, but on the full spectrum of building production level AI search systems. And so one of the things we focus intently on in the first or in the second week is on the collection of user behavioral signals, things like queries and clicks and purchases and add to carts and those interactions with users, which are something that can be used to build models for reflected intelligence. So things like signals boosting models to be able to understand your most popular queries and documents and to automatically learn relevance for those based upon user interactions, essentially a way to crowdsource relevance for your most important documents and queries. And we also, on that Thursday, talk about AI search modalities. So we dive into personalized search and how to implement that. We talk about collaborative filtering. We talk about multimodal search, hybrid search, and we introduce multi-vector search as well. So things like lane interaction, and also how to combine different modalities beyond just your typical hybrid search approaches. And then that Wednesday, we have our first guest instructor, which is Renee Kriegler from Open Source Connections, where he'll be talking about search evals, sort of combining humans and LLMs as a judge. So he's one of the foremost experts on using LLMs as a judge in search. for relevance ranking and for retrieval. So we're really excited to have him. Then that leads into the following week where we build upon that knowledge and focus on learning to rank. So Doug will lead this session on learning to rank, where you'll really roll up your sleeves and focus on feature engineering and modeling domain-specific relevance. We will then that Thursday have a session on modern RAG, which if you've been doing RAG for a while, there's sort of naive approaches, and then there's more advanced approaches today, which really start to blur into agentic search. So we really try to focus on some of the more modern techniques. And then that Wednesday, we also have Kim Falk as our guest instructor, who will be talking about using semantic IDs to fine-tune LLMs for retrieval. So Kim is the author of the Practical Recommender Systems book. He really comes more from a personalization and recommender systems background. So we're really excited to highlight that in the context of our personalization path within the course. And we're really excited for him to be talking about the leveraging semantic IDs for search. The following week, we dive into, we continue, I should say, the topic of learning to rank. And in this particular session, we're focused on automating the process of learning to rank by building click models from user behavioral signals that can automatically learn relevance judgments, and also active learning, which allows us to explore areas of the index which potentially were left unexplored by most of the searches coming in. So it's the process of automating domain-specific relevance learning. We then that Thursday talk about improved vector search, really focusing on quality, performance, and some sort of emerging techniques for doing vector search. So we really dive there into things like quantization techniques, ANN strategies, different types of quantization, representation learning, and ways to optimize ranking and recall in production when doing vector search. We also introduce wormhole vectors, which are a sort of new emerging area that I'm spending a lot of time working on, which allows you to sort of jump between different sort of sparse vector representations and dense vector representations, and do some really cool things for query understanding as well. And then, of course, we have our office hours as usual. And for that week, we have as our guest speaker Amelie Chatelain from Lydon, who is an expert in late interaction models. And she'll be talking about multi-vector search and sort of giving us a field guide to late interaction, what people are actually doing, what works in production, what scales, and what's coming on the frontier. And then our last week, we have a session on implementing semantic query understanding, where I'll be talking about different approaches, not just for ranking, which is what most people focus on, but also for interpreting and understanding queries, whether it's understanding in the context of the user for personalization, or it's, doing query classification, query sense disambiguation, semantic caching, things like that. We'll focus on what we call pseudo relevance feedback, which is the process of understanding documents and taking that understanding and using it at query time to better understand and rewrite queries. So that'll be more of a sort of lexical and kind of traditional approach to semantic search and query understanding. And then in our final core session that Thursday, we will be talking about agentic search, which will also focus on things like query classification from an LLM perspective, query sense disambiguation from an LLM perspective, and also the agentic search loop and what's sort of new and on the sort of frontier of what's being done with agentic search and what actually works in production. And then, of course, we have our final guest instructor that week, which is Andreas Eriksson from Vespa, and he will be talking about hypencoders, scoring embeddings with query-specific neural nets. So we always like to balance in the course a good solid foundation of all of the tried and true AI search techniques that are being used in production and that we've helped customers implement in production over the years at large scale. But we also like to have a few sessions which are pushing the frontier, and hypencoders is definitely one of those. So we're really excited to show that as a more exploratory method, but something that has a lot of promise for the future of information retrieval. So if any of that or all of that sounds interesting to you, definitely check out the course. We've got great reviews from leading AI engineers and search experts from lots of companies. You can check those out at reviews.aipowersearch.com.